Hey, nonprofits, let's raise more money. In celebration of International Podcast Day, Jason and Trevor riff about consistency and why it is the number one attribute you can have as a nonprofit professional. Let's get right into it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hey Nonprofits Raise More Money. It's your two best fundraising friends, Jason Ledlow and Trevor Nelson with
What's up?
Fundraising. How's everybody doing? Jay, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm doing great.
I hope this doesn't sound like a trick question, but Jay, I want to ask you something.
Lay it on me,
We're
bro.
We're gonna get right into it, man. We're gonna get right into it because we come with this information by design because we're the number one podcast in the world in the nonprofit world, and I'm really grateful for that designation that we've received recently. We're number one in the podcast universe, and it's pretty awesome. And we have a really cool topic today that we want to discuss. Jason, I want you to do our listeners a favor, if you don't mind. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What is the number one attribute that a nonprofit professional in 2022 and beyond can possess? Is it God-given talent?
No.
Is it good looks?
Negative.
Do they need to be tech savvy, like able to code and things like that?
Not in the least.
That was my guess. It was code. But okay, apparently I struck out. Jason, do our listeners a favor. Tell us what the number one attribute that a nonprofit professional in 2022 and beyond needs to possess.
The number one thing that if you want to raise money in the nonprofit world is consistency. It's just simple consistency. You know, we have observed, watched, we're really fundraising enthusiasts. We don't have all the answers. We just sit back and watch a lot, deal with a lot, see a lot. And the thing that I see, it's not, the most talented, prettiest, handsomest, all those things are good. Don't misunderstand. They are. But the people that are the best at raising money are the ones that are the most consistent. And to break that down for you, they're consistent over a period of time. And so it's not that, they go out here and they make 37 calls one day and they get a whole bunch of sponsors. It's that they make 2 or 3 calls every day over, 10, weeks, 15, 20 months. Weeks. Yeah. And I think that's the point of this is it's like the rabbit and the hare. The rabbit runs all over the place at little bursts of speed, but then it just gets off track and doesn't do anything. The tortoise just makes a little bit of progress every day, every minute, never stops, just consistent.
I think what you're telling our listeners that it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Always, especially in fundraising. I want to give an example. You have a committee gets together for the first time and everybody's all fun and everybody's jazzed up and they're ready to go. And say, hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to raise, all this money and we're going to do these things. And everybody goes out there. And because they start off, they're going to make 27 calls a day. And I'm using that number because it could be 12, 27, whatever.
It's arbitrary.
But they all say they're going to make these calls. They get to 2 and they stop.
Yep.
Because they get sidetracked with something else. Something comes up. They've got to go. Whatever. Yep. Well, I don't even think it's rejection. I think it's just distraction.
Well, I'm just throwing it out
and
there.
So, but I mean, they go out there, they don't get it done. And so they go, well, I just didn't get it done. I failed.
Yep. Because
the expectation is just, they don't have anything reasonable. But the nonprofits that I have seen raise a significant amount of money, the professionals they just do it over and over and over again. They make 2, 3 calls a day. I can give you an example of it. I can give you an example. There's an executive director. He runs a camp. They were trying to raise money for a swimming pool. He needed to raise about $300,000 in 3 months' time, making 3 phone calls a day, 5 days a week.
There you go.
In 3 months, he raised $165,000.
Wow.
Just 3 calls. 5 days a week, and that was it. Yeah. And his rule he set for himself was, I'm going to make 3 calls by noon. And the reason he did that was because if he didn't get it done by noon, he still had the afternoon to make it up.
Okay. Okay. Because life comes up. Absolutely. Did
Yeah,
you coach this gentleman? I remember you telling me a story similar to this.
I
Was this a gentleman that you
did.
coached along?
I
That's what I
did.
thought.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And
Did you
when we
ask
came
him the
up,
normal thing, like you ask a lot of people and that you put in front of people because you're good at this? Did you ask him, "Hey, I want you to give me a number, and I want you to give me a number. I
he
want
said
it to be
10.
a number that okay, yep." And you're
He
like,
said, I
"Can you
can do
really do 10
10.
every day?"
We said, well,
Yeah.
what are you sure you can get? 6. Can you get 3
Yeah.
done by noon? Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, I love that. I want everyone to listen to that and really, really understand that we're not letting you off the hook by saying things like that, but we're being realistic and these are achievable numbers. The numbers are arbitrary. It could be 100 for some people because there's people that have that kind of time. But this
Yeah,
gentleman
but I
reached
can
an
tell you in my
amazing
experience
level.
though, in my experience and observation and watching and doing and being on committees and
Yeah.
around them over the years,
Yep.
it's no different than salespeople making sales calls. It's no
Sure.
different, and it could be with anything. It could be I'm going to send 5 emails a day. I'm going to send any of those things. It's just
Yep.
consistency, and you apply that to anything that you want to do. It doesn't just have to be selling sponsorships or raising money. It could be, um,
Well, this could be
that
life.
yeah. I mean, it's
You know what I
everything.
mean?
Well,
Could
it's
be
okay.
life.
Here's a great example.
I'm going to
You
go
can go,
walk every single day. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
You're going to go
I'm going to
walk three
commit to it.
miles a day every single day,
I'm going to
but
commit to it.
or you're going to just go and try to run 10 miles one day every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Which one's going to get
exactly.
more, which one
What's
are you
going to
going to get more
win?
benefit from?
Right, right, absolutely. And which is going to become a habit, and which one requires? I don't know why I always come to this, Jay, but I do. It always bleeds. Consistency for me always bleeds into discipline, because everyone's got all the motivation in the world. The gentleman, the example you just gave, he had all the motivation to do 10 calls a day. He ended up doing 3 and doing very, very handsomely with it.
Oh
You
yeah. He
know,
wound up raising all the
we have
money. That was
all
just what he did in 3 months.
we have all these ideas, not of grandeur, and they're not delusional. Our goals need to be big and lofty and scare us a little bit, of course, and I think that's healthy. But at the same time, discipline dictates that we're going to do it every day, not just motivation. Consistency is the winning ingredient that will dictate that we reach those marks that we set in
Well,
front of
and
ourselves and in
it's
front of organizations.
commitment, like you said, discipline. You got to have the discipline to commit to
Yep.
setting whatever that is to do it every day.
Yep. Yep.
And
I
if
love it.
it's the fact that you're going to go have coffee once a week with a key donor,
Do it.
okay, then that's what
It's
it is.
awesome.
I'm going to go have a
Yeah.
coffee with a key donor once a week. How do you go about that? Well, that means you're going to sit down on a Monday and you're going to plan out the next 2 or 3 weeks, and the following
Yep.
Monday or the next 2 or 3 weeks, and have some people keyed up, maybe 1 or 2, because somebody's going to cancel, something's going to happen, you're going to have to change, and then all of a sudden you've gone 3 or 4 weeks and haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And I think those are really simple things that, you know, this is a real kind of a weird analogy, but
Okay.
there was a guy I met. His name was Poovy's last name. He was a world champion flat track racer, and I used to sponsor a guy that raced. And we were out there at the track. He comes rolling up, and he's talking to the guy I sponsored, and he said, "You look pretty good out there, but just remember, you got to go slow to go fast."
Mm.
Then he fired up his motorcycle, lit a Marlboro, and rode off down the pit lane. It's kind of a wild, bizarre deal, but
Sounds like the Marlboro Man.
yeah, but it was. And he was like, his point was smooth, slow, things that are consistent. If you just sit there and pin the throttle, you're just going to run off the track. Regulating the
that.
throttle, going easy, it's being smooth. And, that's the thing, like you're saying, discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it bleeds into it. We have a ton of examples that we can go on and on about. We'd be remiss, of course, Jay, because whenever we speak of consistency internally with our own company, we'd be remiss without speaking about a gentleman that is a very important part of our team, Mark West,
Mm-hmm.
and the consistency.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of it.
That he every day in, day out, chopping wood, carrying water, creating relationships. We're in a very relationship driven business. We're not in a very salesy, that's not our approach, high pressure type approach or anything like that. It's building relationships, being patient, going around the sun multiple times with clients. And we have a team member who is a friend, Mark West, that every time we share a story, an anecdote internally about consistency and how well it pays off if you're invested, if you commit, if you go all in, how it pays off, because it's paid off handsomely for him. And He's got a ton of great clients that adore him. He's an easy guy to like and to root for. So we know why. And we also keep saying this, Jay, over and over again. People want to do business with people that they like. And if you're invested and you're committed and you're disciplined and you constantly are, if you're consistent, obviously, in your approach, people will respond to that. The universe, I'm not trying to get existential here, but the universe will respond to that. But people, your donors, your supporters, new donors, new supporters, will respond to that. So we're nudging everyone and encouraging everyone and empowering everyone to choose consistency over any other quick idea or quick traits, or what is the common word, Jay, that we don't like
there
to
are
use very
no
often?
shortcuts. There's no hacks. There's no shortcuts to it.
There's no hacks.
That is the hack. The hack is being consistent. And I'm going to tell you real quick, Mark, this was during COVID. He came on with us, started sending out emails every day for 2 hours. The guy did it. There's nothing happening. Nothing. Nobody's responding.
Well, think about
Nobody's saying
we
doing
offer,
anything.
At the end of the day, we offer trips and experiences.
We gave away a trip. We were giving stuff away,
and it wasn't easy.
Nobody's responding. But 6 months, the guy did it for 6 months. Consistently kept doing it, and then all of a sudden, it's like somebody flipped a switch. And when everybody started moving around and the nonprofit started working, they started remembering that because of consistency. And he's maintained that to this day. And I think that if you look at the most successful nonprofits, the ones that raise the most money, the ones that have the most successful events, the ones that are able to break their records and do it, that's what they do. That's the piece. Of all the executive directors I know, the ones that are the most successful are not the most talented. They're not the most attractive. They're not the tallest, the short, there's none of those things that you would think go into it. Those
they don't
things
need to know how to code, but if they do,
those things help.
But they don't.
They help. Okay. They're not bad things.
No, they're not. We're not demonizing those things.
But the one that makes the difference, the separator, is that they're consistent day in, day out. We had Jan Peary on for 5 years. She worked relationships. She reached out to people consistently. She's a CEO of a nonprofit here in Oklahoma City, consistently. And it was 5 years before, not for all of them, but she had one that she worked on for 5 years before he came over and started supporting her organization.
That's awesome, brother.
So
sometimes, sometimes the folks that we're trying to reach, they're listening and they're watching. And you know what? Some of those people require that you show up that often, that consistently over time before they'll buy in, so to speak, before they'll believe in you, before they'll want to start doing business with you or anything of that matter. It could be a personal relationship in your life. People respond to that. If you show up,
I had a guy that would come by like once a month. He would swing by my office, talk to me, and we'd just hang out and visit for a little bit. He sold Yellow Page advertising. That's how long ago this was.
Yep.
I didn't have a need for it. Didn't need it. Didn't want it.
Yep.
But he would just come by and kept the relationship. And when the day came by that I was ready to buy,
it was him.
He was my guy because he was consistent.
Yeah. I love that. Hey,
all right. Well, this is good stuff.
It's great stuff, brother. Mark West, if you're listening, brother, we're grateful for you. We're really happy for you, by the way. And thanks for letting us share your story on the #1 podcast in the world for nonprofits. Hey, nonprofits, raise more money. Jay, folks can reach us. I'm going to put your information out there into the universe. It's Jason at hjfundraising.com, Trevor at hjfundraising.com. If you all have any questions about consistency, if you need just someone to listen to some ideas that you have about calls and asks and being consistent and sponsorships and underwriting and planning an event or anything under the sun, we're here to help you. And we can't thank you all enough for listening, downloading, subscribing, sharing. If you got any value out of this, please share it with someone in your network, or someone in your office, a neighbor, a family member, a friend. Jason, I love you, brother, and you're an example of consistency for me, and I really appreciate that, man. So thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys next time.
All right.
Peace out.
Bye now.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you love our podcast, click the subscribe button below, like this video, and leave your questions in the comments. See you next time.